Once there was a boy called Dennis. He was a bit mischievous and did all sorts of naughty things around the place. He loved to tease. Once he put a spider on a park bench and made one of his friends run away. Another time, he had a scorpion and scared his sister. And another time, he went to his mum and while she wasn't looking, he put a frog in her coffee. She was furious. She'd had enough. So she decided he needed to get a bit of Christian faith into him. So she took him down to the church to talk to Pastor Noodle. Pastor Noodle was a kind person, and she decided that perhaps if Dennis realised that God could see him all the time, he might think about some of the naughty things he wanted to do. So she started with this line. She said, "Dennis, where is God?" Suddenly, Dennis got alarmed. He thought, "Oh no, they've lost God, and they're trying to pin the blame on me." And so he ran off as fast as he could. So he decided that God must be somewhere up in space, because space is very dramatic and big, and surely God would be somewhere like that. And so he hopped into a space shuttle. And he flew up into space. Flying and flying up above the atmosphere, up into space itself. And there he looked around. He looked for God and he looked for God, but he couldn't see God anywhere. So he decided, well, he had to look somewhere else. And so he flew back to Earth and landed in the space shuttle. And so Dennis decided, I wonder where God is. So he decided to look in the most dramatic places he could think of, because he thought God would be in very dramatic places. And so he got onto a ship and went off to sea. He wondered if he'd find God on the high seas. And so out they went into the ocean with the wind and the waves and the sharks around. And he looked, but he couldn't find God. So he sailed back to shore and he hopped off and he began to wonder what next. After all these adventures, he decided to go home. And he saw Mum and Pastor Noodle outside the church. But before he got there, he saw the nativity scene out the front, with Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. Suddenly he realised, Pastor Noodle, Mum, God has been here the whole time. I was looking for him, but he wasn't lost. He came looking for us. Here he is in the baby Jesus. He's with us the whole time. And so from that moment on, Dennis realised that God is with us. And things began to change in his life. I wonder if this Christmas things will begin to change in your life as you realise God is with us. The end.